Well, everybody, here we are. It's Saturday, the 28th, I believe. I think it's the 28th. Anyway, it is Saturday, I know that. And gosh, here we are. It's project day. We're going to be doing a bunch of different stuff, trying to get a bunch of stuff done, finished, a bunch of these little projects that I've been tinkering with. And let me show you what I got going on. I've got 3 more colony traps to finish putting together. They're started, they just need to be finished. Got everything wired, ready to go. Everything's cut, just needs to be put together. So that's about a 20-minute job. Okay, these are the mink pans for my 110s, and I might do a 120. Yes, there's a big mess on the table. So I've got a couple of 110s there. There's a 120 around here somewhere. I might even do a 220, I don't know. But anyway, these are 3.5 by 3.5. And when it's all said and done, they'll be 3.5 by 3. Okay, I've got my mailboxes I need to finish cutting out. I got 3 more, and I need to cut them out, get them ready for the trip. That'll give me a total of 5. What I call them mink boxes, but they're just a really easy, lightweight mink box that I use. A 160 or a 110 fit in them perfect. Anywhere in between there. 220s are a little big. So anyway, moving along. I've also got all those traps to dip. Those are all rusted and ready. They're ready to roll. Every trap there has chains, and all the dog tracks have their springs on them. So pretty soon we'll deal with those. Down under here, I've got a couple of bridgers that need to have their night latch fixed. That's just like a 30-second thing with the angle grinder once I get it out and start playing. All right, let me show you some more. A couple of traps here that need springs put on them, and then they'll also need to be dipped. I went and bought some cable rope, some wire rope from River Rats Trapping Supply. So this is 1,000 feet of 119 3/32 cable, and great price for 1,000 feet. I paid, I paid the same as I would have paid for 500 feet from somewhere else. So anyway, I recommend those guys. If you're down in the mid-Michigan area, in the Lansing area especially, man, you got to check out Clint at River Rats. He's great. All right, moving on, more projects. So I went and bought a bunch of peat moss, 2.2 cubic feet compressed. Let me tell you, when you pop one of these things open, man, that's a lot of peat moss. But I only have about a third of a pack left to take with me up north, so I decided I better get one now and get a tarp and spread this baby out in the basement with a fan blowing on it and get this stuff dry, because it's wet. I mean, it comes wet, kind of wet. It's not terrible, but anyway, I need to dry it and get it in a tub and get it ready to roll. So that's on the plan for later. That's kind of that only takes a couple of days, so I'm not too worried about this one. Plus, I don't have a tarp with me. All right, next project. I went and picked up this shovel on clearance. It's a little garden shovel. I'm gonna cut down the handle so that the whole shovel itself is shorter. I'm thinking probably 32 inches long total. I am also going to cut down the blade to make it a little more trapping friendly. Right now it's a pretty good sized blade. I won't change the top of the shovel, but I will I'll follow those 2 side edges down and around and turn it into a spade. And yeah, it'll be pretty good, I think. So, all right, and finally, the most important project. All right, this is a chunk of cold rolled steel. It is an 1/8 inch by 1 inch, and this is going to become 2 gambrels. The gambrel I've been using to do raccoon, possum, things like that, it just isn't big enough to do coyote. So I need to get this coyote taken care of. I caught it yesterday. So today I'll make this thing and get it done, and hopefully we'll get her skinned up tonight. But all right, and that is going to be the rest of this video, is making this awesome new gambrel. Man, I almost forgot some of the fun stuff. My experiment with muriatic acid and a raccoon skull turned out to be a miserable failure. After a day or so, basically there wasn't anything left. So we are going to try the OxiClean method. Now, I figured OxiClean, I wonder if I can use the dollar store stuff. So I went to the dollar store, I picked up some OxiClean, the generic, and then I also went to Menards. I got some of the good stuff. I grabbed a couple of cheap buckets so they'll probably just get pitched at the end. While I was at the dollar store, I found some cool stuff. One, I needed a new bait spoon, so I picked up a couple of spoons. That's no big deal. But check these things out. These are steel, galvanized. That is like perfect. I'm going to be able to cut those into mink pans. They're a lot smaller, a lot thinner than what I was planning on using. Also, I think I'll be able to use that on my rat traps for weasel boxes and make my pans bigger. But then these hooks, this is all from Dollar Tree, these hooks will make great, once I sharpen one end and put them around a bracket, they will make a great rat tail spike. So, and then of course, this is the dog chain, which is going to be used on the metal gambrel. And then of course I just bought some cleaning stuff. I'm going to try that awesome stuff for cleaning traps. Somebody told me that it cuts grease really well, so I'm going to try that on some new traps. So, all right, moving along, here we go. Okay, making the gambrel part 1. First thing I did was take the bolt cutters and I cut that dog chain in half. That is a size large choke chain. I was looking for an extra large, but large is all they had. And it will work based on what I learned. After cutting it in half, I used my J-hook pliers. I have heavy-duty J-hook pliers. And I widened out that last ring, the last link in the dog chain. The way it came from the store, it was not big enough to put the Unilink into it. So after gosh, this is really hard for me to say. Once I've had it stretched out, the final product looks like that. And then of course I will be drilling holes in the steel bar, and that link will go right into the steel bar. And well, I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. I've never tried to do this before, so bear with me. I'm going to try to do this on camera. I broke my tripod last time I was out trapping. So if you put the link into your J-hook pliers, like so, okay, and then you squeeze down. Okay, you get a little bit. Then you got to turn them 90 degrees. So now they're like that, and you can squeeze them down more. Okay, then you turn it around 180, come in from the other direction. I think the reason you got to do it like this is because it's that twisted chain link. Okay, and then finally, you come in from the end again. You can really get it widened out. There we go, nice and wide. And the universal link goes right to it. And there you have it. Of course, when you're using it, you just hold your ring and you drop your chain right through the ring, and that creates the loop that your critter, the leg of your critter, is going to go through there. This thing will work for deer. It'll work for anything. And I'm going to make it big enough to do a deer. So All right, moving on. Okay, here is step number 2. I took 9 links of number 2 chain, put some quick links in it, 2 on the ends, 1 in the middle, and that will actually be the hanger for the gambrel. Now I need to cut that chunk of steel in half and start drilling some holes. Okay, there is the cut rod. Bar, actually, it's bar stock. I went around with the angle grinder real quick, and I just kind of smoothed off all the edges on the ends where the cuts were. And while I was out there, I cut the aluminum. And what you have here is the plate. That's going to be the mink pan. I scored about a 1/2 inch. I should have probably gone just a little bit more, but that's fine. I'll learn. And then what I'm going to do, I've drawn a couple lines next to the trigger, and I will cut straight down those lines, and then I will remove the excess. So all you'll have left is this pan with just the tab for the to bolt into the trigger. I'll drill a hole, and that baby's ready to mount at that point. So we'll see what it looks like. Okay, there is the finished mink pan. I don't know, it turned out all right. There's a couple things I would do different. One, I would drill the hole more centered instead of using the little bolt thing there. I don't even know what to call it. I guess you'd call it the wire frame. I don't know. It's not a dog. The dog's the other thing. So anyway, okay, so moving on. I would drill it a little more centered on the new pan. And then I would also put a washer. Now, pardon me because this is getting scary. Sorry about my thumb. This is once this is in there, the extra weight of it, it does definitely add to the sensitivity of the trap. But I would put a washer on this side, and I will on the next one. And if I decide it's necessary, I'll drill this one out and fix it. So this is what she does. Let me get her set back up. Switch hands. I am Mr. Mink. A little skinny. I'm coming along. I step on the pan and kablam. And that's all she wrote for Mr. Mink. So I can already see a flaw in my pattern. That is that I scored it too deep, because when it just did that, that pan straightened out a little bit. So I'll probably end up redoing that, but hey, it's a learning process. All right, let's keep moving on the dog here, on the gambrel. Okay, there you have it. The gambrel is done. So the holes, the bar itself is 18 inches long. Like I said, I bought a 3-foot chunk and cut it in half. I rounded the edges. The ends, the holes are center mass, and they're 1 inch, and then 1 inch. And then I measured to the center here, and I went, I measured out 4 inches to here. So that means it's 5 inches from the end. So it should be 1 inch, 4 inches, 8 inches, oh my finger, 4 inches, 1 inch. All right, I hope that helps. By the way, I bought like 100 quick links yesterday. That's why I'm using them so much. You could also use bolts or anything else you have around the shop. Every trapper I know has got a bunch of quick links. So there we go, guys. That number 2 chain is some used number 2 chain off of an old trap. I probably could have got away with using number 2 chain for this, but I don't have a welder with me, so I wouldn't be able to weld a ring on there. So I thought, I'm just going to buy a ring and be done with it. So, all right, I'm going to finish a couple more projects, and I'll show you as I get them done. But first thing is first, I got to go skin a coyote. Okay, I also made a couple of accessories for the gambrel. This is, of course, a muskrat hook. I just took that garden hook, I closed the loop and sharpened it with the angle grinder. Turned out real nice. And then this is, of course, to start, what do they call that? The money cut on a raccoon, or I guess a coyote too. But this is just a ferrule that's not crimped. And then this is crimped tight. so that this actually will slide up and down if I can do it right. There we go. And that'll just clamp around his ankle, and then you can loosen it, and then you can switch over to the other part of the gambrel. All right, guys, I'm going to move on to the next project, which is skinning a dog. Here we go. Now, I know most trappers are also DIYers, but here's a quick tip. When you're drilling metal, keep a magnet handy. Well, I should say when you're drilling steel. Keep a magnet handy, because look at this is all just shavings. But keep your magnet in a plastic bag, because if you do, it just falls right off. So I don't know if anybody's ever tried to clean a magnet that has shavings on it, but it likes to stick. This bag is this is the bag it came in. I'm probably going to have to switch it over to a freezer bag because they're a little stronger than just a standard. Yeah, I'm starting to get holes poked in it. Anyway, that's just a little tip. The bag will keep it from sticking to the magnet as much, so you can clean them off real easy. Yes, I know I probably shouldn't be using my bare fingers to do it, but I'm telling you, it comes off that easy. The bag trick works. Well, here we go. So yesterday, when I was doing that video with all the projects, well, it turned out that I got called to work. I did get a lot of stuff done, but I didn't record as much as I wanted to, so the video just kind of ends abruptly. But here we are. We're going to start the short line again today. Take number 4 on the short line, so glad you're here. But this is actually going to be on a different video, so I'll start the new video today.